These medication capsules are incredibly weak. I just made a video and I had to cut it off, and I'm going to upload it to this video for supporters page. It'll be one video series right here, a series that's got one video in it, where when I just tried to make this video, and there was a bug in my on my website, and that video will be useful for people that you will be able to see. You know, if you've visited my website at different times and stuff, like there's for instance here, like this right here, something like this. I'll show you. Okay, so right here you have a page that looks like this. Might be something that you have, and I'm just using an example here. You'll notice here, what I've done here, my website's working, and I just deleted a semicolon. Let's see what happens when I delete a semicolon. Okay, that when I'm working on this, I'm just working on it in real time. You know, I don't have the time or the capacity to maintain. Normally, you'll maintain like a development environment and a production environment. You work on everything in the development environment. Then once the development environment's finalized, you move to production. Okay, but I'm in a hurry and I'm handicapped and I'm being criminally abused or criminally deprived of my medication. And so, you know, I just do what I can do. And this website runs off of very much a significant amount of dynamically or programmatically generated HTML. Okay, and so that means that my content, you know, and of course, there's all kinds of stuff. This video player, this right here, this runs off a database. Okay, there's a database connection involved in organizing these videos, in this right here, organizing these. There's all kinds of programming. It's not just some kind of like visual thing or some kind of HTML thing. And what happens when I'm working on this stuff, because I'm trying to get shit done, and you know, in a hurry to get things working, and I've worked a ton on this this video player here. That I already had this before, but I had to do some changes, and you know, I had to set up this part right here, and it's a hell of a lot of work. You know, for me at least, and you know, got all kinds of automated stuff. I automate stuff, and you know, this automation that involves writing programming scripts. And so, you know, if I got a typo on my script for you know, the website, well, it'll display a 500 error. It'll give you a blank page. It'll look funny. It'll have a video that's missing. It'll have several videos that don't display. You know, different things that can happen in the short run. You know, if you saw those things, that's what's going on there. You watch that video, you'll be able to see, you know, how this happens. And you know, on that video too, it's like I start to get nitpicky about my code. I've got some stuff that's kind of perturbed me about my code for a while, and I changed it. I come across stuff and I like tidy stuff up and perfect it, and you know, improve it. And you'll see me doing that. I get distracted by seeing imperfections in my code, which there's no such thing as perfect code really, but you know, I like to have my code with the highest quality that it can be, and I'm certainly perturbed by code that looks like crap. Although, you know, it's like you have to tolerate, you know, some of your code's gonna look like crap. You know, you only got so many hours in a day, and you gotta tend to your code over time, like improve it a little at a time. It'll get out of hand. It'll get into a, like this right here. This will sort of look like this right here. But this is a little bit of a mess right here. That what I need to do is I need to yeah, see that's from my email thing there. My email, I got a Gmail to DOJ feature on this website that I've taken off. I might put that back on so we can watch. We're gonna go and scroll my Gmail to the DOJ. But you see here, I've got these if statements all here, like all kinds of stuff. I got for a specific message, you know, kind of hacking right here, this email stuff. And then I've got this message board on here, and I had to hack this earlier because it screws up my other pages. And you know, this just starts to be a mess. And I've got my own model for software development, my own conceptual model, my own actual model, whatever you want to call it. And I told ChatGPT, actually, let me see this here. Let me see this ChatGPT. Got my model for software development. Actually, I'm not going to do that now because I got something I'll show you. Okay, but you know, of course, this is not horrible. And I hack CSS all the time. I'm so incredibly rusty. I don't know anything. I'm so poor at CSS because I've been sticking to the server side for so long. When I first started web development, I'll be doing a lot of front end stuff too, and now I just buy templates. And I've got a mountain. This is CSS is way excessive. I got way too much CSS here, but I got to clean these up. And again, takes a long time to clean these style sheets up, and you have to test them and make sure everything works. But I've got like a gazillion um, unnecessary rules or unused rules in this pile of CSS right here. If this is something like right here, this is something I would fix. You see this all kinds of bullshit. This is not bad. Okay, but this is like a one thing after another. It's got if statements. It's got all over the place. It's like we're hacking stuff left and right using these. That what I would do is I've got the page objects for my pages, and I would load for one thing, I want to make this into a class file. So instead of having this like this right here, this whole thing, you would have like this. We would have something like this. And then we would have these right here would be an array. So we'd have image data array or something like that. Image data array or something like that, or actually image data. I'll call it array because it's an array declared. And then so you have that. Get the shortcut tag here. Why is this? Yep. Okay. And then we would have and the Twitter card's different. The Facebook card works. I think so. We have render. What was the Facebook card? We'll call it that. Why not? But what I would do is I'll create some class files. These open graph, and actually I got wrong here. Here we go. This is what we do. We have Twitter card. This is how it looks. Twitter card. Render. Render. Okay. And we would have, instead of these right here, we would have this, and you can see how that's much easier. That would reduce all this clutter into some very simple looking objects or simple looking code that you can comprehend. That you just hide all the code, all these details. You hide all of this behind some code, and I might actually probably will eventually make the head page itself, this head page that goes to the top of the page, to make this like it's in a class in itself. And notice you want one class file, and I would actually I might do that right now. Okay. I've got to, and see, I got to register because I got to get stuff done. I was just about to, I got to get stuff done, but I have trouble. Here, let's make sure this works real quick before I do anything else. Make sure it still works. Make sure I don't unit test my stuff usually, but I test it still yet. Okay, yeah, we're good. Yeah, make sure you screw around with the stuff. You never know when you screw something up, so you got to test it. And when you mess around with something, and you know, I'm vigilant in maintaining my code, but I don't do unit testing, and I'm not sure. I've got to learn how to do unit testing better. I've got some videos on it, but that's a very incredibly good practice, unit testing. But I kick a lot of ass. I do really well without it. I mean, my stuff works. My code works real good. I got super good software. And again, this right here, this is a mess. Okay, it's got way too much crap. All this stuff. It's like you got to figure out what the hell's going on here. You know, but I would move these style sheets. I would assign these to individual pages, so that you know, they'll be dynamically loaded. And so these would be a property of the pages. These style sheets would be a property of the page. You know, pages are just like you know, this page right here, supports media, management case, supports updates. You know, all these pages. You know, this content. You know, right here, that the object that I've got that manages this page right here would house the style sheets that go with it. And so that would be, in this case, it would be a message board CSS, and maybe some other stuff in there. I'm not sure. And you know, all this code would disappear, you know, and you would have some a very nice, simple, easy to look at, easy to comprehend block of code. You have one block of code to replace, one or two blocks of code to replace this entire wall of spaghetti right here, which is not a horrible spaghetti wall as of yet. It's I mean, I've definitely had stuff that's a hell of a lot worse. I mean, I've had this is manageable. I can get around this. I can work my way around this page. I don't get lost, but it still starts to get to be a pain in the ass. It starts to be, you know, and that's part of my model for software development. Is you want to abstract everything as you increase complexity. That the constraint is what can you hold in your working memory. Okay, when your working memory is taxed, that means it's time to abstract something of whatever layer complexity you're at. You need to abstract the layers below that. Okay, that your working memory is taxed when you're not sufficiently abstracted. And you know, when you start a project, when you've got a very simple project, you know, this is like a plain, you know, very simple implementation. You know, is going to be sufficiently abstracted that you could even conceivably just have a bunch of procedural code or something. You know, I'm sure there are people that build apps like that. I do object oriented mainly, and with some functional and some procedural. And I'm not sure if I do functional right. If I'm using the word functional, right. But you know, object oriented programming is extremely good for abstracting stuff. And you know, that's how you build a maintainable system that you can go forever and never get lost on. Is you've got to do the work. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, you go too fast. You know, it's like the mess you make in your code gets ahead of you, just naturally as a product of having to change stuff and stuff like that, having to do stuff. At least for me, because I do my own stuff. I just manage my own stuff. You know, but you never let it get that far ahead of you. You're always, you know, like tilling the soil. You're always tidying stuff up. You're always improving stuff. You're always, you know, when the mess gets ahead of you, you start to reel in the mess. And you know, you can build anything. And another emphasis that I have, another principle, is self-contained behaviors that have no side effects. That's another. And of course, people who don't develop software might not make much sense of this. But you know, with developing software, you are what you're doing is you're bossing a computer around. With this website right here, it's just a piece of software. Okay, web development is one one field within software development. This is a piece of software. This thing's got all kinds of programming all over it. It's every bit as much of a piece of software as like Microsoft Excel or anything else. Not that it's got anywhere near the amount of work into it. Okay, but it's not different at all. In any way, not fundamentally different from any other type of software development. And the same principles apply to this that apply to everything else. But what you're doing is you're bossing a computer around. Okay, you're bossing a computer around, telling a computer what to do. Do this, do this, do this, do this. And the way the computer works is it does exactly what you tell it to. It does exactly precisely what you tell it to every single time. Okay, and it follows your instructions extremely, like literally. And that's how you build software. Is you tell this computer what to do. When they click this button, you do this. When they click this, when they go to the checkout, you do this. You're telling them do this, do this. Tally up this shopping cart, render this checkout page, make an API call to the payment processor, stuff like this. And what happens is your software will get more complex over time, generally, and you will start to have a bigger and bigger system that's composed of all kinds. You see, I've got all kinds of stuff, which I'm a pack rat. I've got all kinds of stuff that I don't use in here anymore that I just experimented on and kept. Okay, but I've got code after code all over the place of different qualities. And I got these right here, these style sheets. And these, like what happened earlier is I put this one up here, and it starts to screw up every page except my message board, and so I had to put an if statement there. But what happens is you end up with bugs. Okay, you end up with bugs unless you're super good at what you do, and you unit test everything 100%. I think you're going to have some kind of bug. You're going to have some unexpected behavior, or maybe you wouldn't. Okay, but you're going to have some kind of bug or something. It's very common that your software will like behave bizarrely in a way that it's not intended to, and that your end user, your customer, or your end user, or your customer's end user, therefore the customer, it doesn't work for them, and you got to find out where's the bug at. What I've got a bug. Why is my website? Why is my whatever application I've got? Why is it doing this? Okay, it's like, why is this like for instance, when I first started web developing, I built an e-commerce store, and I had a bin packing, a very simple bin packing algorithm that would pack items into boxes. The purpose was to minimize the number of boxes that it took to ship the items, and then that would, of course, I'm running a computer, so I'm obviously not packing the boxes. Okay, but this is for the purpose of pricing the boxes. The people, they order goods from the client that I built this e-commerce store for. They order goods, and they're going to be paying a shipping price online. And it's going to be something where their shipping price is going to be way too much if everything goes in its own box. And so you have to have a bin packing algorithm where you put the dimensions of the products in there, and you have stuff efficiently packed, in the fewest number of boxes possible to get the lowest price. But I had a thing where it would get down to the last item, it would pack the last item, and then it would get stuck and freeze and like crash, or like actually get stuck and crash. And what I found out, because I was wet behind the ears, but I figured this out, is that the way computers do math is not precise. That when you buy an application like a calculator application, that application has been programmed to do math appropriately. Computers by themselves, at least I know a web server, because I'm when I'm programming this website, I'm doing everything through a web server. I'm bossing a computer around via a web server. It's like a web server software that sits on a computer. I write some server-side code that the web servers read, and my server, the server software bosses the computer around. Okay, and I can do all kinds of stuff. I use my computer, my stuff to rename my files, because if I have to apply a naming scheme to my files and stuff like this, that I do a lot more than just in this building websites. For visual stuff or for whatever, that I program web applications that have practical use for printing emails and different stuff. And but going back, what happens is that you have this bug, and what can happen to you is you've got code all over the place. Okay, because then this is a small website. And I mean, look at this. Look at this. I've got code all over the place. Very, very significant amount of code here, and it's just I've got page after page, and some of these files right here, these Clash files, they're just entirely code. I mean, they're entirely PHP code, server-side code. This right here, you're seeing a combination of hand-coded HTML. This is HTML right here. This is hand-coded HTML. And PHP programming, like some programming variables here, programming conditionals, these if statements. And so I've got a lot of pages like that where it's got some programming there and some hand-coded HTML, and I've got dynamically generated. And again, this is a small project right here. It's just my personal website. It's not fancy at all. Yes, you can imagine a big, massive application, and I mean, it will be something where you will like scream trying to find out where this bug's at. Okay, because you've got all this code everywhere. You've got module after module of code, file after file of code. You have no idea why this computer's doing what it's doing. Okay, it's doing exactly what you told it to, but you don't know what you told it to do. You can't figure this out, and it can be like a nightmare to maintain. As I understand it, I've never been in the professional world, like working for a firm. I was a freelancer, underpricing myself dramatically, doing small businesses for very, very, very low prices. That I made very, very little, but I liked what I did, and I got good at it as a result. And I'm not complaining. But like I'm people that they work at a big firm where they got a big project to manage. They've got some big software thing that I mean, it's like people will spend millions of dollars. They'll like go broke, basically trying to figure out where the hell this bug's at. Okay, like you let your system mutate. You follow bad practices. You don't run a tight ship in maintaining your code, in making sure everything works, in testing it and stuff like this. And you just let it mutate layer after layer. You let layer after layer of complexity, and you've got this approach where you're not hardcore. You're not trying to perfect everything. You're not trying to like paying intense attention, putting the work in at every step. Okay, and sometimes it's called technical debt. That it's like I'm going to save some time here by putting some spaghetti code in here or putting this code in here that works, and I don't know why. And we'll save some time now, and then I'll have some technical debt in the future when this code comes back to bite me, or when I've got if it didn't come back to bite me when I go and fix it, and I get a little technical debt. I get technical debt quite a bit, but according to the materials I've gotten, studying this, this is something that happens at these companies. They will have a project, they want to ship it out the door on the fast, and they save a lot of money in the beginning because it's easier to do easy work, it's easier to do less work and to do poor work than it is to do really good work in the beginning. That is, in the beginning, you have to put some extra time in the beginning. Okay, but over time, what happens is the hard way is the easy way. Okay, because once your system's mutated like hell, and it's like you got a customer, a customer or customers, you're selling this product, this software, this web application, whatever it is, it's like you've got to fix it. And this can be something where people spend a gazillion dollars, and that's where I get the idea of self-contained behaviors that have no side effects. That you want to well, at least conceptually, if you have self-contained behaviors with no side effects, you cannot have any bugs, really. It's like any bugs are going to be contained within the module that you're working with. Okay, you just have everything self-contained, no side effects, and then running purely off of that is probably not going to work. But it's a conceptual model, and it's something that you can use as a principle. And to me, it's a very simple framework. It's incredibly simple, but it's also incredibly powerful. This framework that I am on my small project, on my little mini applications and stuff that I use to change the file names and stuff. And of course, I got ChatGPT code, printing me all kinds of code too. I got ChatGPT working to death, making me codes and typing statements, SQL statements. It's like you can get a project as big as you want. Your stuff will be good. It's an approach that it's implemented properly. You can't go on. It's a powerful approach, I'm not sure if anyone else has ever mentioned this working memory constraint. Working memory as being the metric that you judge what the next step of the process in your code is. Okay, when your working memory starts to get taxed, okay, and right here my working memory is like borderline getting taxed. It's to the point, yeah, I'm taxed enough that it's time to fix this. Okay, this is about the right time to fix this at some point, whenever I get to it. But that's what you do. You start to abstract complexity until your working memory can comprehend what's in front of you without being taxed. Okay, that ideally you want to have code that you like to read like a book, and it just doesn't tax your doesn't tax your mind. You see it and you see exactly what's happening. You don't scratch your head. It's all straightforward, easy going. Okay, like this, and and it's that would be if that's never been said because I've never heard it. That would be another unique contribution of mine. And ChatGPT tells me that my framework has parallels or has commonalities, with people who are recognized as like the world class best of all time experts in the software development world. Okay, that software, how to develop software is a tough nut to crack. It's like it's a hard thing. There's no with these extra semicolons. Okay, let's just do it again. Let's do the work so it should work. And usually I know my stuff's going to work. I usually know what's going to work ahead, but I do get surprised sometimes. And I don't want to get ahead of things. Okay, because I got to figure out what the hell I've done wrong here. Okay, I'm good. If I've screwed it up, I got to figure out what the hell I've done. And here, what the hell is this? Why is this? My footer page disappears on and off. It'll display and then it won't display. But the point is, going back, I want to get to my presentation, get on the content of the video. But the point is that the reason this tax on working memory is because there's too much to look at and it's too much to comprehend, that it starts to be, and this is not hugely overwhelming, and part of the reason it's not hugely overwhelming, this would be hugely overwhelming for me if I just built it, but I've had this site since 2022 or before. And so, I've seen all this a million times. This has all been done iteratively. All these if statements and stuff, I'm hacking things one at a time, adding an adjustment one at a time. This is not hacking, but it's just an iterative process of adjusting for all the changes and incurring some technical debt. I've got a little ahead of me. What you do is you abstract, like this right here. You abstract this. You take this and you put it behind some wall. Okay, put it behind some code that only takes up one line. Okay, that you have some code like this. Okay, and what you would have here is you would have a file, one of these class files, and I use class files, so I'm calling classes. I would have a Twitter card file and some one of my class folders, and this single line right here would replace this. Sorry, this. And I'll have another line that will replace this, or I might have each of these cards in an object called each of these cards. What the hell's wrong with my computer? Okay, now I have this one single line of code will replace every bit of this. Okay, I'm going to take like, what's this? 25 to 43, Okay, so we've got was it 19 lines of code? That would be. I don't feel like counting because they got empty lines here. Okay, but we'll replace it with one line. Um, um, and that's going to we're reducing this. Put this in a line of code. This is one line of code. Okay, all this stuff right here, have this be one line. Put these style sheets, have them dynamically generated. That they'll be reduced to one line, and dynamically that the style sheets are styles that are applied to individual pages on this web application, and you make the style sheets a property of the pages that they belong to, and so you would have something like um, what we have here, I might have something like this. Actually, it would be, well, I'll skip it. But the point is I would have this. These would be managed at the level of the page. I would not have a wall of this to sit there and manage one at a time. And that if statements, and again, I'm handicapped. It kills me to do everything that I do. And so I just do what I can. I'm a very good programmer. But you would have this mess would be eliminated, and I would be back in the territory where my working memory can handle it. And I would probably eventually just have all of this abstracted. This whole code would be abstracted into one line of code that would echo out this head tag, and that code would be an integration of this code that I've already told you about. There will be one master class file that holds that you feed these modules. That holds these modules. You feed them to them, or it just has them hard coded and has these modules. The modules that echo this out, or that contain that generate this HTML, will be in there. And so uses as part of what you do. You have a modular framework, and you just put modules together. Once you increase the level of abstraction, one thing you can do is put modules together, and you don't lose the atomic self-contained nature of a well-designed module when you do that. It would be I could just take this whole thing and make one big file, one big thing in one class file. Okay, but then it starts to be a nightmare to change. Keep everything modular. Okay, you can change anything very very fast, and your help your code will be reusable in a way that's and that's part of the secret sauce in software development. Okay, you want to be able to reuse your code. You want to be a copy and paste artist like I am. You just copies and pastes your way around the world. And being a copy and paste artist. Part of that is being able to hit Control C and Control E. The other part is you're going to use writing code that can be copied and pasted effectively. That's properly designed, that you can copy entire class files, copy entire files maybe. When you're copying the entire file, I would take this records app right here, for instance, that is my database ORM, my ORM query query builder application that I build. I copy the entire folder over to my projects, and I've got an out of the box a product that works, plug and play. And of course, it's in development, and so I'm always having stuff screw up. So I can just copy that entirely, and then sometimes I have to write new code. And what I do when I write new code is I go to some of the old code. I gotta make a new file folder here. Let's see, I got a user file. Okay. I gotta make a new file like this. And let's see what I want to look at here. I don't want to expose the I don't want to show anything. Of course, I'm not sure what people care about code here. Watch this. YouTube channels, videos, or channel videos, metadata. Okay. Okay. And so here, I've got ChatGPT wrote this. I mean, I changed it, but ChatGPT wrote this. And when code, like I just need something to work, I'll have ChatGPT author code for me. That I do use ChatGPT in different ways. One is just have it author something, and the other, and that's, as on ChatGPT. Well, of course, I'll always tell it what to do to some extent. I'll tell it what I want it to do, but ChatGPT authors the code. And then I'll use ChatGPT as a workhorse where I boss ChatGPT around and tell ChatGPT exactly what to do. And ChatGPT ends up being like a disability aid for me that just does the work for me, precisely to my specifications. And when I'm not too worried about something being incredibly accurate or high performance, I'll have ChatGPT give me some code. It can spit out some code very fast. But if I've got some new file to make, I'm not sure whatever I would have. I don't want, part of it's because I'm handicapped. Okay, it's pretty hard on me to type code. Taxes my mind. Definitely, I get exhausted really fast. And so, say I need to do something here with this time format in the new code that I'm writing. Well, here I'm going to swipe this right here, copy and paste it into my new file. Even when I'm making new files, I'm just copying and pasting code from old files, and then I'll have some novel code that'll get added to the pile of code that's available for copy and paste. And it starts to be almost like an exponential thing, where it's like the more code you copy and paste, the more new code you write and copy and paste, you just start to build an avalanche that you can just build anything, very, very fast. That there's only so much code to write out there. There's only so many things to do. And this is a pretty good design, pretty well designed class right here that ChatGPT wrote. I did make some changes here, though. I know I made some changes. But my stuff that I pay real hard, like I pay a lot of attention to, I'm really trying to perfect. It's written in a way that's like ChatGPT cannot compete with, or does not compete with, when it writes code. When it authors code for what I'm doing. Okay. So we'll test this one more time, and then we'll get to the video. Now I'm sorry. See what happens here. You got to understand that I'm gonna find out why the hell that what's going on here is, people are watching this, and the topic of this video is to explain stuff to my supporters about this reconstruction, about this other thing here with this Twitter account thing, and I'm going on to a big explanation into all kinds of stuff forever, for like a long time, and what this is my handicap. I have extreme neurological impairments has caused me a profound executive functioning difficulty. Okay, and part of executive functioning is being able to direct your own mind in the direction it needs to go. Okay, it's like there's an impetus. It's like you can think of your executive functioning as like a wall that intercepts your impetuses. Okay, it's like you want to go to Burger King, or you want to you want to program software. You've got an impetus where you want to work on a project of yours, but what we really need to do is to do some stuff for your legal matter. Okay, now what happens when you've got an intact executive function? Is that impetus to do software, to work on the software project, instead of doing what's really important that really needs to be done? That impetus is like you can kind of like flex your muscles, flex your brain muscles, and it's like the wall of your executive functioning will absorb that impetus. That impetus will not direct your brain to wherever trajectory is going. Okay, the momentum of this impetus, the inertia of this impetus will get held up. Okay, and it's sort of getting into things like different. It's a little bit different than willpower. I think it's a little bit different than willpower. And there are all kinds of other things involved in executive functioning. I'm profoundly impaired. And like in your normal life, though, there will be things that, like, the wall can't hold it back. You break, you snap for a moment. You curse at somebody. You get pissed off. You get overwhelmed. You give in. You do the wrong thing. You do something like I've done here, where you squander some time that you got stuff to do. You're running out of your medication. You're about to be out of medication, and you've got stuff to do, and you end up, probably not this extreme, not the specific way that I'm doing it. You have that's a general part of your life, okay, that your mental muscles are able to flex. You're able to flex your executive functioning. You're able to direct your brain, instead of having your brain direct you, in a way in which you're kind of like powerless. Which, by the way, with this medication being weak as hell, that's one thing that comes into effect here. This medication, when I've got real medication that works, that's properly, that's an actually real medication with a real dosage, it will medicate my executive functioning difficulties very significantly. And so what you're seeing right now, you're not seeing somebody who's neglecting. You're not seeing somebody who's tangential. You're not seeing somebody who has a personality trait or a character trait of anything. You are seeing somebody with a broken brain. Okay, that this inertia. It's like I've got to build up. I've got to build up the muscle to hold this inertia back, and I just can't do it. Go from just keep going, and it's time. My brain's incredibly taxed now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut this video off. I'll start a new video, and then the video number 9. I'm sorry, video number 10. I will get to the actual subject matter of what we're doing. I'll do my very, very best. Okay, but I'm an incredibly nuked human being. I've been terribly, terribly cruelly abused. As I'm going to show you in this video, things are getting better. People were moving this towards resolution. People are taking accountability. They're doing the right thing. The things that held them back from doing the right thing are no longer holding them back. We're on a good trajectory. We just gotta. It seems to me really like it's gonna be smooth sailing from here. Okay, that we've had a lot of things to work out, in different aspects, and these people have got some you had to confront their demons and things like this. Part of the process has been a really intense thing for them, and that was a really hard, really hard thing for them to do. It's a hard thing. I don't know. People out there who confront their demons, people who have demons to confront are out there. There are plenty of us. Okay, there are plenty of people like that. And I'm not sure what flat out demon I've got to confront, because I confronted my demons. But we're out there in the world. We're quite a few of us in numbers. Okay, because we live in a rough world, and a lot of this comes from we live in a rough world, including when we're tiny children, and tiny children, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, those ages. You're inherently vulnerable. You're easily wounded, and you live in this rough world. Okay, that you can incur demons. When you're incredibly young, and you don't have the insight when you're incredibly young, and you don't develop the insight over your life until it happens upon you, until you come across something, you realize something. So that's one thing. The people out there who've got a demon they're battling, or they got a demon, you got a demon to confront, but you're not confronting it because you don't know it exists. It's like you're being shackled by a demon that you don't even realize exists. That's one category. That's where everybody starts off at. Who's incurring. They got a demon to confront. Okay, now I'm talking about pain, incredibly harmful beliefs that have people locked into harmful behavior patterns. Drug addiction can be a demon, absolutely. Different things. But I focus on demons in the psyche, demons of demons of pain, of suffering, of inappropriate, not realistic, limiting, imprisoning ways of interpreting the world they're destructive for you. Okay, but you got the broad killers, you got the people who got a demon, living with a demon. They got to confront it. That's one. If you've got a demon, period. Then you've got the people who confront their demons. And among those people, you talk to anyone, it's a hard process. Okay, and it's a 2-step process. First, you've got to confront your demons. Then you've got to overcome your demons. It's like confronting them is largely, like just seeing them. Okay, and it's like the first step is harder. Once you confront them, once you've seen them, you confront them. Okay, to overtake them. They lose their power. Once they're brought into the light. Once the hidden machinery of this machinery that was hidden behind the surface the whole time. Once those gears become conspicuous, and you see how they're grinding an agreeable world that you can make it in to a threatening world, or a bad world, or a world that hurts, or a world that a world in which you're fundamentally bad, or a world in which all kinds of things, these deep-seated types of perceptions and thought processes and ways of interpreting the world and wounds. Okay, again, we're vulnerable. Our emotions, our feelings, our thoughts, everything. It's all it's based in physical matter. Ultimately, at the end of the day, okay, people will treat like things like for PTSD, for instance, okay, which PTSD is an injury to the brain. Okay, the brain is a physical organ. Okay, so it's not made of ether. You can go to a brain surgeon's office, go to a brain surgeon's where the brain surgeon do a surgery. You watch that. You'll see cut over the skull. You'll see the brain. It's really there. Everybody, as an adult, has seen a human brain. And this is tissue that's not made out of steel. And when it gets massively pounded with stress hormones, it will experience an injury. Okay, this is physics, and what else? Okay, and we're certainly, we got this very, very soft tissue when we're 25, 35, 45, 55. Okay, if we have to go to a brain surgeon for whatever reason, they're not going to find something made out of steel. They're going to find this same very delicate lump of meat that seems to be easy to injure, that seems to be like, we don't really take care of this because it's very important, it's crucial for our functioning, it's amazing, but my God, is it ever fragile? Is it ever made out of kind of like delicate materials? Okay, and if we could not be any more any more resilient or any more anything in how we were physically composed. When we're just tiny kids and our brains haven't even fully developed yet, have just barely got along to developing. And this is part of the process. This is part of what we've been through here. That this has been really hard on everyone, and it's something that's produced a profound effect on people. It's produced, it's impacted people deeply, and it's also produced growth. Okay, produced insights. That this is looking, for me and the people on the other end to be heading in a direction in which it's going to be constructive going forward. That this is going to be, we're going to come out of this doing well for all of us. Okay, that it's going to be something that it'll be a struggle. It'll be something that's had an impact. It'll be something that had an impact that we may feel. Of course, I'll feel it for the rest of my life. I'm disabled, which is, shit happens. You got there in life again. It's a, I was never guaranteed a gentle world, and I'm not sure if I ever asked for one. Okay, and this is part of life, and we work things out. But they may be impacted. This is something that can really have it's really had an effect on them. I can tell, but it'll be something where the price that they paid may well be worth the peace that they have, as it goes along. I think it will be. They'll have a better way of viewing life, be more authentic, be more feel less threatened, feel less of a need to be completely perfect. This is part of them. I've got to chat about this, and I got to get off. I'm gonna have to force it. I'm clicking the button right now because I'll keep going.